So, yeah, good day everyone. Welcome to this second session in the Our Open Spaces track. I have the pleasure of welcoming Oliver, who's from Gothenburg in the local community here, who's Mozilla and GNOME enthusiast, and also Soumya, who's, I don't know if you have any other engagements besides Mozilla, but at least the Mozilla lover I can see.
Yes.
They're here to talk about the Swedish Mozilla community 1 year later and some lessons learned in building a community.
Yeah.
Please welcome.
Thank you very much.
So I will just start the initial introduction. As he already said that I'm a Mozilla enthusiast. Apart from my daily work, my most of the time, which is now more or less into Mozilla, and it's very less to my personal life, but that's a different way. So this is the simple part of the introduction, and I let Oliver to introduce himself.
So my name is Oliver, and I'm as my daily work, I'm working as a teacher, and I'm an open source enthusiast also at Soumya, and contribute to also very much into free software. And I'm also a little bit involved with the organization of the conference, but yeah, for this talk we're talking about my engagement with Mozilla and my experience as a Mozilla rep in building a local Mozilla community.
Yeah.
So Soumya will start the presentation by going through some basics about, we will take that.
Yes. This is, as it's a part of open spaces, we talk very generically. This is not a technical talk. Has been a talk about the experience we had till date and what are our plans to go forward with this community and how do we think the community can shape up in the coming years. And the agenda is basically very much simple. It's what Mozilla is, and if people are not yet known a lot of things, and what are the projects and the products Mozilla is involved in, and why we are doing a community building, the lessons learned, the road ahead, and thankfully do join us. Okay, so I will start with this. It's a very simple line which has a lot of meaning and power inside. And I believe that this has been one of the reasons which has always made me join or work for anything like Mozilla. And that is that it's a global community of people and which believes that openness, innovation and opportunity are the key to continued health of the web. In my last talk, which I had a few hours before, I said that web is the only key which takes you forward, because like our food, like shelter, you cannot even stay apart if you don't have a 3G connection, if you don't have an internet access, if you are not playing with your web, with your browser, with your apps and everything around it. So web is becoming once always for the center of the next generation of people. So Mozilla always looks that the web is free, it's open, and people have a lot of opportunities to develop the web and take it ahead. And it's definitely a not-for-profit foundations with the purpose of internet built by open technology. So if you are into a bit of Mozilla, then you will know that it has invested a lot of time and efforts or initiatives about a lot of people into making the internet free, making the internet not bound with any rules or sort of any regulations, like the net neutrality. If you know about that, if you know about the open standards, Mozilla has been throwing his pitch and forth about this so that it always carries on with the same momentum. And if I go with the Mozilla's generic manifesto, or rather the key points, it's very valid that the internet is always a global public resource and it should be remaining free and open and accessible. And we feel that, okay, it's already accessible. What are we doing? What are we paying for that? It's accessible. I don't pay $5 every time I log into Facebook, but I think you are wrong. You are somehow not getting the real picture. The picture is you are being tracked by so-called everything, which can track your day-to-day usage and then get a lot of benefit from you. And you don't know about that, but every time you search for a camera in Amazon.com, the moment you go to the next website, you will see the Amazon.com ad. So the thing is, people track you. It's not about that you are not paying. You are doing some other charity on some other notes. So it should be always open and accessible. The internet should be as a power to enrich the lives of human beings. And that's quite self-explanatory, I guess. And the security, I always see that Mozilla being a browser, Mozilla being a company who runs for the security of the internet and the web. I know all the features of Mozilla, in which few of the add-ons give you a lot of securities like Lightbeam and like the other security features which you have in the Firefox, and Firefox Os also has all built-in security features. And then you have this individual should be having the ability to shape their own experiences on the internet. One of the biggest parts of that has been the Webmaker initiative, in which people have been shaping the web, teaching the web, learning the web, sharing it, and moving things across whatever they know. So that's a bit about what Mozilla is. We know that Mozilla's biggest and the official product with which we normally associate with, and normally what I knew before, that Mozilla is nothing but Firefox. So I thought Firefox browser is Mozilla, there is nothing else. But when I deep dived into the community, I came to know that Firefox is not the one. You have a lot of things. Like one of the things I think people use a lot is the Firefox for Android, which is codenamed Fennec, and that's the first logo, which is a Firefox icon with an Android logo. Then you have now a very famous thing like Firefox OS. It's doing rounds all over. It's the next generation of the mobile operating systems, which is open and free, like the web and like the browser of Firefox. And we have something called Marketplace, which is so-called, I shouldn't compare, but it's like the Android's Google Store. So it's much more free, much more open, much more secure, and we definitely have something different. I just spoke about Lightbeam. It's something for the security. Once you have installed Lightbeam, this talk is not about any sort of technical details, so I'm not going into Lightbeam, but if you are free later on, you can jump into our booth and we can show you Lightbeam. Lightbeam actually shows you real time what are the services, what are the sort of things which are tracking you, and that is live. And the moment you have the add-on, so you can just go to New York Times or you just go to Amazon, and the next moment you open the Lightbeam in the other window, you can see how many trackers are just following you. So that's a great thing to see and know what internet actually is doing to you. A few other projects, Webmaker, I spoke about this. It is shaping of web, shaping of your own knowledge and sharing your skills. Open badges is something of recognition in the digital learning area. So previously learning was into classrooms. You had examinations, people filled out the results and answer sheets, you get a great certificate, you're gone. Now you have online MOOCs, you have online classes, you're going through Stanford classes, you're going through YouTube videos, and one of the Skillshare, or one of the reasons how you can recognize a person in a digital learning pro forma is the open badges. So open badges is a great way to recognize people, I must say. The Thunderbird, the Mozilla's earlier email client, though it's not officially supported by it, but because many people use it, I cannot remove it, at least in Sweden, because many people use Thunderbird in Sweden. So the next part is, the icon is a bit stressed, but that is the Mozilla Developer Network, and that has all the sort of developer documents you need for anything or everything you need to learn, hack, jump into test trials of Mozilla products. And the next thing is our favorite, the Bugzilla. It always comes up. It's nothing but the way how you file the bugs and where you file the bugs and where your bugs go. Yeah, so this slide takes a bit of history. I came to Sweden 3 years back, and that time I saw that when you try to do a community building, it's quite different in this part of the globe. It's not about that you just call people and there are many people in your events and many people are gathering to meet you and chat with you. What happens is you have to see around personal times, you have to see around private moments of them, you have to see that you don't make it fall in the weekends and other things. So what I first learned is you have a different focus with different people. I have seen both of the parts of the world. Once I was a part of Asia's community building in Fedora. That was one of my earlier. I still today contribute to some parts of Fedora, but I have been a Fedora ambassador from 2006 or 7. So what I have seen is that's a quite different area. And the moment you come to Sweden, Nordic countries, even if I go with even proposal, there have been few people turning out if that doesn't help them, if that doesn't suit them, or the time doesn't suit them, or if it's not weekends. There have been 5 to 6 clauses which has always comes up. But normally in Asia, you sort out an event and in the afternoon you try to register for it, it will be full. So it's difficult and it's different, and it's better that we know earlier. Another thing I always come up with, that what do I get contributing? That suppose this is my day job and I don't have time, and suppose you are saying me or you are trying to convince me what you should contribute to Mozilla, you should tell me what should I get out of it. And I must say that we have been going through this consumer behavior or thought process from a long time. It's time that we should give back something. So it's about your passion, definitely. It's about your passion which drives you. And if you think that open source and open platforms are something about your passion, you should go forward to it and you should contribute to it. The outreach, it is one kind of a challenge. Sweden, though, is being always considered that it's not a very big country, but when you talk about different folds and different type of people who are developers, designers, entrepreneurs and other people, it's very difficult to touch each of them with your node. Sometimes you reach developers very soon or very easily, but the moment you talk about any user, they don't come to your events because they think that it's very developer focused. The moment you have a user focused event, the developer thinks it's pretty naive and they don't want to attend it. So you have to strike a balance about how do you do an outreach to all kinds of people. And as I said before, that it's diversified about across the globe. I know many of you have not been doing community building across the globe, but I have seen two totally different continents. One is Asia, one is Europe, and it's totally different, believe me, and it's different in so many ways. It's not about just gathering people, it's getting out your common interest, getting out your common ideas, and getting out a reason for you to join this bandwagon. Another thing is the recognition. How do you recognize people? Normally what we do is, this has been a challenge from long time in different communities, and one of the thing is, suppose there is a volunteer which works day and night for it, and another volunteer which doesn't work that much. How do you recognize, or how do you kind of give an equal share of distribution to everybody? That's so that they are happy. They keep on continuing the sort of contributions they are doing. So this is a challenge. I still don't have a proper answer to it, but it's like some people like getting t-shirts as a part of recognition. Some people like stickers, some people like swag, some people like traveling to events. So it's a quite varied area, and we need to address that part. And people should be always ready to collaborate for a common cause. Here the common cause besides Mozilla, what I feel is, it's about the web. Web, if you want it to make better, you should join and contribute. If you want that it should be as it is, and it should continue in the hands of net neutrality, the net neutrality is gone, and the moment you are charged for more data with different contents, different people, different ethnicity, then it's your choice. But web, to be open, should always be free. The last part, which I should say, is something which the term I learned maybe 1 year back, which is called episodic volunteering. This is that you try to grab people you see that, you think that they are contributors, you think that they are volunteers, but at some point of time they are totally gone, and they are gone for suppose 6 months to 1 year, and you think that they are totally gone, but after again 1 year they come back. And then when I try to speak with them, I have found that they only contribute, or they only want to volunteer when they have free time, and that free time can be 2 months, that free time can be 2 hours. So how do you tackle this challenge of episodic volunteering people when you are trying to measure a contributor base, when you are trying to measure a volunteer base for such a big organization? It's a big challenge that you should measure something called episodic volunteering. The biggest challenge we faced in Sweden, I must say, is very much depicted in the picture. I saw that people are excellent developers, they are excellent designers, they have been entrepreneurs, they have been great amount of people who are contributing to open source. But all of them are segregated. all of them are in different parts of Sweden and they don't want to meet. They're fine in their kitchen rooms, they're fine in their home, they're fine in a small closet with 2 people. They hack around the Raspberry Pi and nobody knows. The main idea is, why can't all these people come and share and collaborate so that the other people like me, suppose I don't know how to hack a Raspberry Pi with Firefox OS, why not the person who is doing it in his kitchen party or is doing it in his closet can come out and help to share the skills to build a more efficient, skilled people and a section who can later on go and contribute.
Yeah,
So,
and this was why we took initiative to start our community building effort, because Soumya recognized this situation, right?
Yeah. So in 2013 we did sort of like we always tried to gather and meet up. I will not go in details, but the below 2 are from the last year FSCONS, and that year this whole thing started. The whole thing of community building started. Before that we met in Copenhagen, and there was few other meetings also. And in 2014 we decided that we will write out a big email and shoot out to the mailing list. And when I talk about mailing list, I should say that the Sweden Mozilla community mailing list was dead from 2009. There was no activities at all. When I started things at 2013, mails started pouring in. People started to know each other. People started to talk with each other, at least through mails. Even if they said that, no, I cannot go to the event, they at least replied. So I was very happy that at least the mailing list started picking up. And then we decided in 2014 that let's have a big mail shooted up, that what our plans are in 2014 and how we want to execute it.
Yeah, because like one important reason was because we wanted to begin the communication as a local community before, because if we didn't have any communication as a local community, we couldn't reach out effectively to other people. So that was like the first step. And this was the intention to start that discussion with this mail, where we laid out our plans which we had begun planning during FSCONS.
Yeah. So 2014 was quite good for us. 2014, I remember we started with a kickoff Mosfika, so that we connect with Swedish people more. We always had something called Mos Coffee, and we tried to break that traditional thing to have a Mosfika, so that at least with Fika people come in. So, and we were right. So we had few folks in Mosfika, and it was very interesting discussion. It was discussion about how people can join in hands and take the things forward. And it's very good that when you are in Rome, be like a Roman. So if you have something like a fika replacing a coffee, and that gives you people, do it. So that's one of the big learnings. And then we had lecture sessions by Oliver in Gothenburg and in other institutions. And in the last image, we were not only eating, we had something else before, but that picture was missing somehow. So we didn't only eat, we had something else, and that else was starting a localization sprint. If you know localization, it's nothing but localizing software into your own language, own native language. This has been always a challenge for Mozilla, that you get more localizers in the particular language, so that you get more people to localize their products in their own language. The thing is that people want to use their products in their own local language, but they want it ready-made. So I always think that now, again the same line, stop only consuming, please. So if you contribute to your own local language, you go and get your own local products. So we are hunting for localization people and localizers from long time, but that we will discuss next phase. This is some kind of celebrations because we were happy, and then Firefox 29 launched, and Firefox 29 was a huge change from the traditional Firefox we had.
Yeah, and Mozilla made a call to the communities, different communities around the world, to organize these events, lunch parties, and we saw it as a good opportunity to do some outreach to future generations outside the typical contributor market. So we did a face painting event, which you can see the result of on one of the pictures, which was very successful, I think. And we gathered a local community in Stockholm also.
So the face painting event had a very good thing, that now let's take two. you target the kids to reach their parents. So we targeted kids, and all the parents were around. So where kids were doing the face painting, we were telling parents how they can use Mozilla. So the thing is, you always go deroute or detour in case normal things doesn't work. And Firefox 29 was not only celebrations, but help us reaching generic users who were using Chrome and were not quite accustomed because their office always installed Chrome in their netbooks or in their laptops, or they have been using the Internet Explorer, so-called the Explorer from 2009, but still they're happy because they didn't know that there is some other alternatives called Firefox. So that has been a great development for us, at least in Sweden.
Right.
And I think
so,
Oliver can take over now.
So yeah, so basically, as you also might explain, we did some things during the first half of 2014, but so then the summer came, and we basically decided it was time that we needed to refocus efforts and really see what we as a local community could contribute value to. So I know during the summer, Soumya and Åke did some great learning meetups, but while I and the rest of the community was planning like how the next steps, how we could refocus like our community efforts basically. So basically we have come to the conclusion that going forward we will focus on this key area for the community, and it's the localization efforts, it's the comparability efforts, and we want to like have expand our digital presence with, for example, a community website. So yeah, let's walk through some details. So yeah, as Soumya explained earlier, or showed a picture from, there was like a large meetup, a translation meetup in Stockholm in March.
February.
In February.
Yeah.
February. End of February. And so the situation for the local translation teams was that basically there was some translators, localizers, who had contributed to Mozilla and done translation, for example, Firefox for a very, very long time. But for various reasons, they basically wanted someone new to take over the responsibility. So more or less a new localization team was formed, and Martin here stepped forward as the driver for this. Yeah, but you also did some important work for Firefox. But we are still like need more resources in this particular area basically. So this will be an important focus for us to making sure that Firefox and other Mozilla projects are available in Swedish or in the local language, because we think it's basically very important. So it's very important for our community, a very important priority.
So if I add just 2-3 lines after that, it's the Elton and the localization team has always come down to us, because the localization is for Mozilla is mostly, there are people who are the staff, but the localization part is done mostly by the volunteers. It doesn't need a technical knowledge much. What it needs is, it needs that you are quite interested about getting the own products in your own language, and what it takes is you do give some time, and then all the products are localized into your own language.
Yeah.
And Mozilla has been in some issues in local Sweden, because there have been few localizers which stepped down in last year, which from the community, and they were doing it from last 4 or 5 years. So we had suddenly a gap. And that was the reason we pitched into localization, and we have that focus same in 2015, that we keep on pitching into localizers so we get more localizers and get this localization thing done much faster and much easier.
Exactly. And and we also want to increase our digital presence with, for example, a website which we are working on. Probably we're hoping to get done sometimes in the first half year of 2015, but also on our radar. And there is also this about web comparability, which is quite interesting. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yes, so web compatibility is something that you always do face it, but nobody actually reports it. It's like, suppose you are opening a browser in your mobile and you get the desktop version, then that is something wrong. That should be a mobile version of the browser. So lot of Swedish websites actually open up in a desktop version, or suppose if you are using Firefox Os mobile phone, it doesn't recognize your browser at all. So web compatibility is a drive in which to see that are your websites, are you getting an equivocal presence of your websites in either your mobile phones or your desktop or your different browsers.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and the reason this is interesting for us as a local community to drive is because in Sweden there is a lot of web developers and people are very actively using the web basically. So if we can make sure that Firefox or that rather that mobile pages are displayed correctly on all form factors, it's a good way to reach out to developer to contact them about this issue, and it's also a good way to making sure that users in Sweden have a good experience of the web. Yeah. And obviously we want your help, or rather we need your help with all the areas we have talked about basically. So, and everyone can get involved. It's very easy, and we will now just go. There's some contact information if you want to, how you can reach us. We have a mailing list now that's quite active. We have a Twitter account, GitHub account, an IRC channel, Facebook, and meetup group also. So, and I can say like if I would like a year ago we basically this page we had the IRC channel maybe like 2 or 3 people hanging there, but besides that we had nothing. So I think we have made some progress in this area in particular. We're very accessible. It's very easy to join.
So our meetup group, for example, has around 55 odd people, and at least I can see 10 of them in the events. So 150 is not bad considering it's meetup. So.
Okay. And here are some resources on links you can check out if you're interested to start contribute. There are many things you can you can contribute. Some more resources. .org, our manifesto, Firefox Os, and yeah. So
I guess I will just add few points before we scroll down.
Yeah.
Regarding the joining in, or regarding joining us rather, it's mostly that I could have shown links, but it's better that if you are interested in contributing in any sort of possible ways, you can come down and visit our booth and we can help you there. So contribute has a lot of options. What can I do is something like what can I do for mozilla.com, and you can just go and check it out. Good first bugs are for the developers or for the newbies or for the students who wants to join in and support the code base, but they are shaky because of the huge amount of code base. You are assisted, you are guided, you are mentored for solving your initial bugs to get the idea of the code base. The other things are mozilla.org, which is pretty much simple. The manifesto we spoke about. Firefox OS gives you the sole opportunity to jump into code, into test, into QA, into localizing it, into doing everything. And MDN is the sort of Mozilla Developer Network. You have all sorts of documentation starting from anything and everything of Mozilla.
Yeah, and we also have humor. Like Mozilla is a very global community, and we like having fun where we contribute, and it's a very like happy spirit around here. So we have some. So even though we are very serious about our cause, the importance of the web and keeping it open, we also have some humor, which I think is important. And yeah, basically it. I hope you are interested in joining our efforts.
Yeah.
But we have something else. Actually, there's like one more thing we want to talk about. So here's a quote. Good software takes 10 years to build. I think it's like a complete quote, and from my experience I think it's very true that really good quality software takes really long time to build. So Firefox, the browser, started, was first released in 2004, and now it's 2014.
So coincidentally, we can use the code.
Yeah, exactly. Now it has reached a maturity state, and it's hopefully good. But yeah, so Firefox is and still represents. It's easy to forget when you see all this excitement around Firefox OS and mobile devices in general. It's easy to forget that Firefox is still the most, like the browser is still such an important product both for Mozilla and the web. So to celebrate this, or rather to remind this, Mozilla, there is like a 10th anniversary going on right now that are really about creating excitement around the Firefox and reminding people about the importance of the browser and what opportunities it creates. It's still, speaking personally, it was Firefox that opened the world to me about open source because it's available, it's on the internet, and it's still 10 years later, it's still very, very important. So, and I think it's something people tend to forget. So, to remind people about the importance, Mozilla are doing like a campaign, so to speak, that basically is about that a group of people goes together or outside and snap a picture, basically. So that is what we will do, at least me as Maya, and I hope as many of you want to join us. We are planning to do it basically right away.
It's like a picture to support the campaign of Choose Independent.
Yeah.
If you like to use, you use sometime, you will be using, or you had been a Firefox user.
Yeah, it's a great time.
You will be very much happy if you join us for a snap outside before your lunch or after, which suits your belly, and we take a snap together.
I think it's important to remember that I think there have maybe never been a time where the support from users have been more important to Mozilla. There's a really need for users to show the support for the cause, because in many ways it's really a challenge today. So yeah, I hope you want to join us.
Yeah, so we are done about this.
Yeah.
So thank you. And there's ample time for questions, if anyone has questions for the audience.
Anyone?
Yeah, one thing that you tend to see today, you know, it used to be Internet Explorer that was sort of pushed on to people, not only by Microsoft but by institutions and service providers that we guarantee it works on Internet Explorer. Nowadays, you see a tendency that some of these, Internet Explorer has become sort of had a bad reputation and is dropping off. But now they sort of jump over to something else, and that something else is more and more Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Do you see the same tendency? And so how can we sort of counteract that they just jump?
So what I want to first say is that Mozilla is more than just a particular product and than a browser in that sense. So Mozilla is about, for mostly I would say, about creating open standards and support the web. And if certain organizations such as whether it be Google or Microsoft or anyone else implements open standards, for example HTML5 in their product, that's basically a good thing. So there's not this traditional sense that there's competition in that sense, because Mozilla wants the web to be open and accessible. But you are right that right now there is a tendency that some companies
public institutions.
No, I can sense what you're saying, because I work for Ericsson in my day job, and I have seen people either into Internet Explorer or they have moved to Chrome. As Oliver said, that Mozilla or Firefox, wherever I have contributed, and I know because our meetings are very much accessible. Our meetings, even you can join and ask the same question.
Yeah.
And we have been talking about this question, and it's always been a healthy competition which is making survive all the browsers. Suppose if Mozilla is doing something fast, and if the browser is suddenly fast, Chrome developers come up and think that how to make their fast. So ultimately the end aim is to benefit the users. Even if you are in the first position, or even if people are not accepting you and but Chrome, but people should be getting the benefits of all the open standards and all the latest developments. One problem of Chrome is definitely, as we all know, that Google knows everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Google can track every data of yours. So now a lot of people know this and still use it because they don't see the next thing, and a lot of people don't know it. And the people who don't know it, we are trying to create awareness of privacy and security sessions like this.
Right. So
In particular, I think public institutions, you should
Right,
really have a
exactly.
campaign
So it's
they
really-
don't promote this
no, exactly.
single.
So it's really important that there is an alternative for example, Google and this very controlled environment, and that is what Firefox and Mozilla are about, basically. And we really think that the control of the web should be in the user, and one way to make it. That's what it is.
I think for targeting the general users, like you are talking about institutions, and I guess few of the institutions get all the packages directly from Google. Means it's like Google sponsors the edu part of them. Suppose of institutions like colleges and universities, Google will be sponsoring the whole edu part, and Google will be giving all the products as free downloads, and lot of things are tagged with each other. Previously Microsoft used to give that if you are taking all of our products, then Office and XP and Vista and 7 all are free for your students. That's a big catch. So normally Mozilla has this Firefox as a main browser, so it cannot tell all the other things which the other companies say.
No.
But when you have this word to mouth, like people like you and people like lot others who understands that privacy is an important part of your daily life, and you have seen so many things nowadays. You know Snowden, you know WikiLeaks, you know everything. After that also, if you are not cautious about your own privacy, then you are letting a fragment of your own things taken by people.
Yeah, exactly. So this is also to tie together with this campaign. So this is also a campaign to remind people that you have a choice, you still have a choice, you can choose an independent alternative, which is Firefox, basically. Yeah.
But that for institutions and for the universities and stuff like that, that choice is often not. I mean, many people who have an office-based computer, they're not their own administrator, so they can only use the browser that is pre-installed. Not for developers.
If you're speaking yeah, in one sense you're completely right, but it's as a user, if you start as a user, it was basically, I would say, if it had not been for Firefox, for example, which really drove the adoption of open standards, and the adoption of Firefox, like made that Internet Explorer, for example, implemented some open standards that have increased the capabilities in some offices. But
no, that wasn't my point.
No.
My point is that as a user in an office environment, you are not the one making the choice of what browser is on your computer.
Yes, right.
No.
So how do you sort of
Not directly, but you as a user you got to speak up, refuse to take the
part one is what you said. I just want to say that it's not only because now, especially if you are considering Sweden, it's a flat hierarchy. It's not that you cannot speak to your boss. It's very easy that you go up to a boss and say that this is not actually protecting my privacy, and you shouldn't be thumping something which is not protecting my privacy to me, because I choose what I use in my work and even at my home. So you start from your home. If you feel that the browser gives you benefits, you just push your organization to do that. And you shouldn't think that you are alone. Lot many people like you can actually force them to change their mind, and that has been happening from long time. So it's never late.
No. So it's great to see all these questions, but I think a key point is also that because this is what our talk was about, that basically like with Mozilla there's an opportunity to start yourself doing something, get involved and contribute towards the change you want, basically. So like it's great with questions about specific products and so forth, but maybe it's a good idea to save them to later. And if there's more questions, great if there would be more about maybe the community or so forth. Otherwise, I would be very happy if we could take a moment and go outside basically to snap the picture. Yeah.
One more question. Other than the privacy, can I ask what's the advantages that Mozilla over the other internet browsers in terms of functionality?
Right. So that's.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
So, see, when you see, I told about this competition and everybody is using the same parameters or open standards to stay afloat in the race.
Okay.
Only IE doesn't make that much, but still, if you consider Chrome and Firefox, they are parallel, and every time there is a new Firefox or new Chrome release, you will see TechCrunch and all the gadget magazines coming up with answers that this is faster. No, this is faster. This is faster, this is faster, and this keeps on changing every time. So I will not say that there are benefits. If you're talking about benefits, we can talk about different features. But if you know recently, Firefox and Chrome developers came together and developed something called Hello in Firefox. So what happens is you can you can call other browsers directly from your browser. So it's in nightly, it's not in the main build yet, but you can directly call without having a Skype plugins or other things installed. So if you are a Firefox browser, you just press a call button to your Chrome friend and you can directly speak with each other. So this thing has been developed by both of the team of Google and of Chrome.
Yeah.
So this is a participatory way to bring the web forward.
Yeah.
There are different features in different releases which changes or which comes ahead of each other.
But it's not really about features, because the point is if you have an open source community, there can be like a constant drive of innovation.
No, but Chrome also has a community,
Yeah.
so you cannot neglect that part.
No.
Google has a big user group.
Yeah.
That is not neglecting that part, but Firefox is fast, is secure, and probably gives you the best of the web. That's what I can say to you, and you can believe and try it for at least some time, and then if you don't love it, it's totally your choice.
Yeah, great. Thanks everyone for coming. Now
Yeah,
we
sure.
must go outside if you want to snap a picture, basically. But cool, and we are at the booth, so it's just to grab one of us if you have a question about anything
Yes,
related.
any questions, grab us in the booth or tweet to @Mozilla Sweden.
Yeah,
You can just answer there.
And maybe some of you want to join our efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we close this session.
Yeah.
Before you run off to the photo shoot, let me inform you that at 2 o'clock we have the keynote speaker Lee Honeywell, who will talk about models that we use to change the world.